Good evening. You are tuned in to AWANI Tonight with me, Cynthia Ng. The government will look into transforming government-linked companies and government-linked investment companies. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim says this includes boosting strategic domestic investments, which will in turn increase national non-tax revenue.
Hasil bukan cukai kalau yang tinggi sekarang ini daripada pendapatan pelaburan, ya, termasuk dividen Petronas, Bank Negara Malaysia, khazanah yang purata memperolehi hasil sekitar 50% daripada hasil bukan cukai. Dan pada tahun 2023 pendapatan pelaburan mewakili 65% daripada hasil bukan cukai.
Non-tax revenue in Malaysia consists of licenses and permits, petroleum royalty, interest and returns on investment.
The lack of interest in the fields of science, technology, engineering and mathematics (STEM) among students is worrying. According to Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, the Education Ministry and other educational groups have taken various steps to address the problem, including urging parents to encourage their children to engage in STEM education.
Dan ini sedang diusahakan secara lebih serius lagi. Dalam semua perjumpaan kita dengan syarikat-syarikat asing yang berhormat, kita tekankan soal yang sama, iaitu mesti ada Center of Excellence di Malaysia, mesti ada latihan di sini. Kerana kita sekarang ini memang kekurangan jurutera. Dan jurutera yang kita lahirkan walaupun baik dan diterima baik, dia masih menganggap ada kekurangan di peringkat yang tertinggi. Kemahiran atau keterampilan peringkat tertinggi. Jadi ada gap tentang niche yang diperlukan.
Anwar said among the areas that need more focus are artificial intelligence and technical and vocational education and training (TVET) at the highest level. Separately, Anwar also launched BlackBerry's Cybersecurity Center of Excellence in Cyberjaya to upskill Malaysian workers to meet the target of 25,000 cybersecurity professionals by next year. The centre will focus on improving threat intelligence sharing, fostering regional cooperation to reduce cybersecurity threats, and combating cybercrime. Malaysia, he said, currently faces shortfall of some 12,000 cybersecurity personnel.
KLIA's Aero train will resume operations earliest by the end of 2024 and no later than March 2025. According to Transport Minister Anthony Loke, the time frame takes into account the readiness of appointed contracts from a technical and infrastructure perspective.
The previous Aero train service was suspended in March of 2023 after facing several major disruptions. It was subsequently replaced with a shuttle bus service to transport passengers from the main terminal and the satellite building. In a visit to a factory in China last year, where the Aero trains were being made, Loke confirmed that the first set of trains were 90% completed.
The Central Database Hub Padu system has complied with security features and met international standards. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli says all the data registered in the system is also encrypted, making it hard for hackers to breach the system.
Setiap data yang didaftarkan di Padu adalah encrypted. Maksudnya kalaupun ada yang berjaya memecah masuk dan memuat turun fail seperti yang selalu disebut security breach, fail yang didapati itu perlu decrypt. Dan kecualilah hacker itu ada superkomputer yang boleh menjalankan program untuk decrypt, setiap data itu dengan izin adalah gibberish kerana is encrypted.
Rafizi said despite more than 2 million attempts daily to access the system illegally, all have been thwarted and the Padu system remains impenetrable. He also reassured that the development team, led by the National Digital Department, closely collaborates with various agencies managing national cybersecurity and data privacy. As of yesterday, over 8 million Malaysians aged 18 and above have already registered for Padu.
The government will review relevant laws on online drug transactions as part of a wider review of existing drug laws in the country. Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail says there was evidence that drug dealers were using e-commerce and social media platforms to sell the dangerous items.
The decision was made after the first Cabinet Committee meeting on combating drug abuse for 2024, chaired by Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. Saifuddin said the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry would be given the responsibility to review all e-commerce related laws, while the Home Ministry would review all other relevant drug-related laws. He said the Home Ministry had also launched a study on the issue and would then propose the necessary amendments to the committee.
Primary school students will be taught the basics of artificial intelligence in schools starting 2027. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq says in a few years' time, the school curriculum would include Fasih Digital as one of the 7 competencies that must be mastered by school children.
Fadlina said further exploration and application of AI will continue in the same subject in secondary school, as well as in the computer science, ICT, and design and technology subjects. She said the ministry was committed to producing a skilled workforce equipped with AI knowledge and skills to enable Malaysia to remain competitive in the global economy. Her ministry, she said, is committed to continuous improvement of technology and digital learning systems to ensure that students could adapt and be ready to face future challenges and opportunities involving smart technology such as AI.
A total of 28 heat-related illnesses were recorded as of yesterday. Health Director General Dr. Muhammad Razi Abu Hassan says among these cases, 19 were identified as heat exhaustion, while 9 cases were heat strokes.
He said Kedah recorded the highest number with 8 cases, followed by Perak with 7 cases, 3 cases each in Selangor, Negeri Sembilan and Sabah, 2 cases in Perlis and 1 case each in Johor and Pahang. 22 patients are aged between 20 and 59, while the remaining 5 are teenagers aged 13 to 19. According to the Malaysian Meteorological Department, Perlis has been experiencing a heat wave with daily maximum temperatures reaching 37 to 40 degrees Celsius.
We'll go for a quick break. Stay tuned for more.
Penatnya, terbang sana, terbang sini. Inilah antara sebabnya aku terlepas nak tengok rancangan kegemaran aku. Tapi apa dah hal, dengan adanya Astro Go, balik je daripada kerja, aku boleh stream bila-bila masa, di mana jua.
Sekejap, Tarif.
Aduh, dia ni memekak ajalah. Stream tempat lain lah. Aman sikit.
Sekejap.
Muat turun aplikasi Astro Go sekarang. Percuma untuk pelanggan Astro.
5 lelaki penghantar makanan didakwa di Mahkamah Magistrate Bangi atas tuduhan membunuh seorang pemandu kereta lelaki dalam satu kejadian.
4 sungai di sekitar kawasan perindustrian Pasir Gudang di Johor termasuk Sungai Kim Kim didapati tercemar dan berada pada tahap yang membimbangkan. Kerajaan sudah mulakan inisiatif untuk menggantikan kenderaan operasinya kepada kenderaan elektrik EV dalam skala kecil terlebih dahulu.
Welcome back. Israeli forces continued their attacks in the Gaza Strip, showing no sign of letting up in the war, despite a UN Security Council resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire. The resolution was adopted after Israel's closest ally, the United States, abstained. It calls for an immediate ceasefire for the current month of Ramadan, leading to a lasting truce. The resolution also calls for the release of hostages taken by Hamas during the October 7 attacks on Israel, although it does not directly link their release to the truce. Israel reacted furiously to the U.S. abstention as it allowed the resolution to pass with all 14 other Security Council members voting in favor. Washington insisted that its decision did not mark a shift in policy, although it has taken an increasingly tougher line with Israel in recent weeks.
14 votes in favor, 2024.
A bridge in Baltimore, Maryland has collapsed into the river after being struck by a cargo ship. Authorities say up to 20 people and several vehicles have also fallen into the river. The number of casualties and the extent of the damage to the 3-kilometer-long bridge are still unclear. Shipping company Synergy Marine Group confirmed that its Singapore flagship, also known as the Dali, had collided with a pillar of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. There is no indication the crash was intentional, but officials said it is too early to determine what caused it. Following the incident, Governor Wes Moore has also declared a state of emergency in Maryland. The port of Baltimore near the bridge is the largest in the U.S. for specialized cargo. Temperatures there are now estimated to be around -1 degree Celsius, with the U.S. Coast Guard currently conducting search and rescue operations. A British High Court has ruled to delay the extradition of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to the U.S. on espionage charges. Judges say they will grant Assange a new appeal unless U.S. authorities give further assurances on what will happen to him.
It's clear that
the case was adjourned until May 20th. The court said that if there were no assurances from the U.S., Assange would be allowed to appeal his extradition on grounds including violation of freedom of expression and facing the death penalty. Assange has been held in a high-security prison in London since 2019. Prior to that, he spent 7 years in Ecuador's London embassy. The U.S. has indicted Assange multiple times between 2018 and 2020, although President Joe Biden has faced persistent pressure to drop the case, which was brought under his predecessor Donald Trump. Assange's supporters argued he was a journalist protected by the First Amendment who exposed U.S. military abuses in Iraq and Afghanistan. But Washington said his actions went beyond journalism by publishing classified government documents that endangered innocent lives.
Police in New Delhi detained dozens of opposition supporters as they attempted to march to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's home today. They are protesting against the arrest of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, but were stopped by authorities about 5 kilometers away.
Kejriwal was arrested by India's Financial Crime Fighting Agency on corruption charges relating to the city's liquor policy. A key opposition leader, his party has governed the National Capital Territory for a decade. All of its main leaders are also now imprisoned in connection with the case. Kejriwal's arrest comes weeks before the country begins voting in general elections on April 19th. The federal government and Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party deny political interference.
Turkish authorities have detained 147 people over suspected ties to Islamic State in a nationwide operation. Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya says police had captured the suspects in simultaneous operations across 30 provinces.
He said the suspects were found to have been active within Islamic State, to have engaged in armed conflict with the group, and to have helped fund it. The raid came as Russian media reported that one of the suspected perpetrators of the attack on the Crocus Town Hall near Moscow had travelled to Russia from Turkey. Friday's attack, which killed at least 133 people, was claimed by the Islamic State's Khorasan branch, which is active in Iran, Afghanistan and Pakistan.
New Zealand has accused China of malicious cyber activity linked to Chinese state actors targeting its parliament in 2021. New Zealand's accusation comes a day after the US and Britain claimed that China-linked hackers were behind a cyber espionage campaign that stole British voter data and targeted millions of people, including lawmakers, journalists and defence contractors.
According to the New Zealand Government Communications Security Agency, the hacked network contained important information that enables the effective operation of the New Zealand government. China's embassy in New Zealand dismissed the allegations as groundless and irresponsible. Authorities on both sides of the Atlantic have nicknamed the hacking group APT-31 and described it as an arm of China's Ministry of State Security. US and British authorities announced a set of criminal charges and sanctions against 7 hackers, all believed to be based in China. Among those targeted in the cyber espionage campaign are White House aides, US senators, British MPs, and government officials around the world who have criticized Beijing.
That wraps up AWANI Tonight. I'm Cynthia Ng. Thank you for watching and good night.